Okay, Brazos County Commissioner will meet in workshop session August 22nd, 2:30, Brazos County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First thing called to order. Second is presentation and discussion of community support contract request, proposed budget year FY 23-24, alternate dispute, Boys and Girls Club, and Eggland Humane Society. Nina.
Good afternoon, Commissioners Court and public. We're going to welcome Austin Bryan with Alternative Dispute Resolution to go over his request.
I think he's with the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, backwards. Okay. We're going to go ahead and have Alternative Dispute Resolution. Tori Ellis. Sorry about that.
Austin can give my
I mean, he probably would have done a good job, but let's hear from
done
the.
a great job. Good afternoon, Commissioners. So we turned in our packet, but I have some supplemental information to go with that. Would you mind if I pass it out to you at
We
this
love
point?
supplemental.
Okay. If I can get my folder to stay on the. So what I realized when we were kind of reviewing this is that when everybody talks about us, they talk about us being a mediation center, but they don't really talk about some of the other stuff that we do in the town and in the community. So I gave you a little bit more information on kind of some of our upcoming events. That lays out what we're doing all the way through December. I gave you a little bit of a spreadsheet of some of the trainings that we do. So we are a mediation center. We do mediations, we do arbitrations. We do those at low cost, no cost. For anybody that doesn't know about us, we use the same kind of fees as the court so that we can actually do free and reduced mediations. Even at full cost, they're only $175 per party. In comparison to a private mediation, you're looking anywhere from $500 to $1,500 per party for these. So we can do all types of mediations here in the community. We do civil, we do family mediations, and we do CPS, which means we can do everything from a business dissolution or a civil small claims court, now that you're up to $20,000 in those. Or we can do, which is what we mostly do, divorces, child custodies, modifications to that. We also do a lot of the CPS mediations here for the CPS court. So we do the mediations. All of our people that come in and mediate are volunteers, so they're not paid anything. Now, to maintain credentialing, as of a mediator in Texas, you have to complete so many continuing education hours. We provide that training at no cost for our volunteers. So when you look at our schedule, and you'll see this, I call it Muffins with Mediators because it happens in the morning. But it's a 1 to 1.5 hour training that gives them that continuing education that they need. And then we also do what we call the Roundtable Speaker Series, where it's at night and it's a 2 to 3 hour training, which also provides them with the continuing education. So I wanted y'all to see kind of that as well. The other thing that we're doing is we've reached out to the schools. October is bullying month, and we've done a lot on dispute resolution, conflict resolution. We're working with some of the middle schools to do like it's a bookmark contest where they do a drawing and submit this, and there are some little prizes where we kind of get the word out about bullying, get the word about conflict resolution, kind of work with our schools in that area. We're piloting this with just 5th and 6th grade to see how well it goes. We just have 2 Bryan schools right now for this year, but we want to expand it. But obviously we want to start small and make sure that it works. I also have some information in here about, we're working with Judge Hawthorne, who's the administrative law judge here, for a concept called Settlement Week. And Settlement Week is required under the statute for any county that has, I think it's 150,000 people in it, where you come in and you have these weeks where you have mediation that happens in the courthouse for free. And all of the attorneys, even if they haven't completed the 40-hour civil and the 30-hour family, are allowed to mediate during this week. And you try to get as many cases settled as possible during that time. And it's a free service. We're still working with the Bar Association and the Administrative Law Judge, but to make that happen here as well.
So kind of a
legal health for all model?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, there's some pretty strict requirements to get your mediation certificate. For any kind of civil, it's 40 hours of training. That's a lot of training, especially if you have a full-time job or you're doing something else. And then for family, you have to add an additional 24 hours on top of that just to get the certifications, and that's not even the practice. So this allows attorneys who deal with this stuff on a day-to-day basis, they already kind of know the rules, they know the laws, they know what's going to happen in court, step in without that training. And for that week or those 2-week periods, whichever you pick, they are the mediators and we just run the process. So we set up the forms, we have the agreements, we handle the scheduling, they step in and get to do the mediations, and then hopefully we get some of those cases off of the backlog for the courts. Increase in funding is for our rent. So rent has gone up at our facility. We do both in-person mediations and we do Zoom mediations, but a lot of people still prefer to come in person. And unfortunately, we don't control the rent at our center. We rent an office space out in Briarcrest, and they are continuously upping the rent and removing services. So when we originally signed this, we signed a 5-year lease. It was locked in. It included all the electricity and all the cleaning services, and every year the rent goes up a little bit and the things that they used to provide get taken away. So that's what the increase is for.
Okay, and I'm looking at your 23 approved budget, and I see the 12,000 Grimes County at court, but then the request last year was $40,000 from us,
Yes.
and the request is for an additional 10.
Yes.
Is that in that income item 410, the court fees?
No, that is in the 460 grant support. So if you look at the
Okay,
20.
so the 40 so this is last year, the 40
Yes.
is grant support.
Yes, so I submitted both the approved budget for 2023 and then the proposed budget, although I messed up and called them both the approved budget. But the second one is the proposed budget, and under 460 it would show the 50,000 that I requested.
Okay, so it says grant support. Do you bring in additional dollars?
We do. So
With what you apply for there?
in grant support or in other
What you
funding?
apply for grants? Do you use the money that we have here to bring in additional dollars to the community?
We have not used the grant support to do any kind of fundraising.
Okay.
I mean, it's something that we'd be willing to explore, but right now we only have 2 full-time people and 1 part-time person and running the center. Some of our biggest costs are our rent and then our employee costs, and so I would love to put on a fundraiser
Yeah.
every year. We just
Yeah.
don't really have the manpower to do it.
We're just trying to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in functioning, I get that. Yeah, if there's ways that we can do grant type of stuff where you can use money that typically with a whole lot of our community support items that we fund, we look for, okay, how can we put money into the hands of entities such as yourself, and they use that to leverage additional dollars to come in from the Fed or the state or philanthropic organizations and things like that. But I see, but what you're talking about really here is this is necessary for what you're trying to do, just for maintaining operations.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Appreciate the work y'all do and that you let our courtrooms breathe a little easier with some of that load taken off. And thank you for coming forward and giving that information today.
Thank you. And if anybody would like to attend any of our trainings and get certified in mediation, It is open for free
I
for the
appre-
county commissioners.
I appreciate the invitations. So far, I have not been able to make it, but I look forward to continue to keep me on the list.
All right. If y'all have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer them anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Boys and Girls Club of Brazos Valley. Now, this is going to be Austin, Bryan, and Melissa. No, Melissa's with. We're just going to do Austin. That's okay. It's been a long week already.
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Austin Bryan. I am the board chair for the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Brazos Valley. Here today to primarily speak to our request for an increase in our funding. The court has been gracious enough to support us in the past. This year we're asking for an increase. For those of you that don't know, we have built a new club facility on Beck Street. We have vacated our former club facility. Due to the size and scope of our new facility, as you would expect, our budget has increased substantially, and we are searching for ways to fill the gaps, bring more money to the club that will allow us to continue to serve our membership, but our increasing membership. We're currently serving 100 to 150 kids per day at the club. We serve over 2,000 meals to the kids each month. As you have probably heard in the past, our membership fees are $25 per child during the school year, and then we increase that to $30 per child during the summer. So membership dues do not pay the bills at the Boys and Girls Club. We are completely responsible for outside income. Couple of things that really justify our request for the increase are we are implementing some strategies to try to increase our membership and involvement of teenage kids. We certainly understand that our impact on children is limited if they leave the club when they reach their teenage years. And so we're implementing some strategies and some programs that would allow us to better attract teenage kids, make it more appealing to them to attend the club so that we can continue our impact in their teen years. Another reason why, and this is a real sore spot with me, is we have a waiting list of 81 kids that want to attend the club. We don't have the staffing to safely allow them to come into the club on a daily basis. So we're looking for ways to clean up that waiting list and allow every kid in Brazos County that wants to be a part of the club to be able to do so. We've got to hire some part-time staff in order to properly staff the club so that, again, we can safely observe and support those kids. We're also implementing a HELP program which provides college and career readiness. Some of the attributes of that program, again, college and career assessments, an ACT diagnostic exam, 1 year of free ACT preparation, weekly sessions with a PhD instructor, and meals served for the kids that are participating in that college preparedness program. So great things going on at the club. We've experienced a tremendous amount of growth. Our membership is up, but we've got to find ways to continue to serve these kids and serve them better. So therefore, we're asking for an increase. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I have a comment. I have been to your facility. It is an absolutely wonderful facility. I like what I've seen there with the current staff that you have, your leadership. I'm just very pleased that you're able to offer that to the kids in the community because, you know, it's important. And the new programs that you're proposing, as a former person who worked in higher ed, I am just delighted to hear that you're adding that to, you know, to the program and what you'll be able to offer those students because it's needed.
Thank you very much. I've seen you at the club. I appreciate you coming in. I invite everybody to come by the club and see what we're doing.
Right, yes.
It's we're serving a fraction of our community.
Oh, I know.
And there's a lot more need out there that we're not able to get to, but with some help we can.
But every little bit counts.
Thank you.
Well, there's just some great Boys and Girls Club stories in our community throughout the history of things that have been here back all the way to, I guess, Ronnie Hale. And you'd mentioned a wait list. I didn't catch it maybe because I was thinking about something else, but what's your wait list? as
We
far
have,
as
we have
being able-
81 children on the wait list today.
Okay.
And as you would imagine, one of the benefits of our new nice facility is that we have greater capacity to serve more kids.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, we're underutilizing that space because we can't properly staff it. And
Okay,
the only,
so staffing is
staffing is the key
bottleneck.
to serving more kids.
Okay.
Correct.
It's not the ability to find the staff, it's the ability to fund it. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Austin.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You took my paper with the names on it. Last but not least, Aggie Lane Humane Society, and is it Dr. Katrina?
Nope,
Okay,
just regular.
Katrina Ross.
Thank you. Howdy, y'all. I'm Katrina Ross. I'm the newly appointed Executive Director for Aggie Lane Humane Society. I don't think I've met anyone in this room before, so it's nice to meet all of y'all. I just moved here in June, so I'm still very new to the community, but not new to animal welfare. So Aggie Land Humane Society is asking for an increase going into this fiscal year. As you know, we provide more than just animal sheltering services. Our goal is to serve the entire community through accessible spay-neuter, having a rigorous adoption program, fostering intake diversion, which is just keeping the pets out of the shelter and in their homes, and transport, transfer, really everything we can do to maximize our live release rate. It is very important to our mission that we remain a no-kill shelter, and what that means is that 90% or more of the pets in our care make it out alive, whether that's adoption or transfer, transport, return to the field, whatever we can do. That's something that's very important to us. It has been a tough year, and everything, as you guys know, just continues to get more and more expensive between our staffing, the cost of raw materials, everything. And so what we are asking for is an increase to help to continue to fund our programs and to continue to pay for the pets in our care. I'm happy to answer any questions or anything y'all might have for us.
So to encapsulate it, it's the materials you need to do the job you do
Yes.
are more expensive, and that's
Yes.
that just
Even down to like the food, our cleaning products, and then of course, labor is continuing to go up. It's important that we pay our staff appropriately. That's also the key to keeping staff in the shelter. It's a very hard job, emotionally and physically. Lots of manual labor and just the taxing nature of compassion fatigue.
Well, I just want to say I applaud what you do because I don't know that I could do that because I probably have 10 dogs, 15, 20 dogs.
Yeah. Everyone in the room gets a free adoption today, so.
I already have two,
No,
But
thank you.
anyway, I applaud what you do because,
Yeah.
I love pets also. I guess I'm pets and kids, but I love pets also. So I applaud what you do because
Thank
I can't
you.
imagine, doing what you do and hopefully
Yeah.
sometimes being able to find good homes and,
Yes.
sometimes you can't and having to foster them and having to send them out. I just can't imagine doing what you do, but thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Easy peasy, thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the community.
Welcome, yes.
I kind of wanted to go over the process of outside agencies and how we receive the request. Each year, we send out emails to the existing outside agencies, letting them know that the application process is open. They go ahead and submit certain documentation as well as their the application, reasoning why they're needing the funding, and any backup that they could provide, numbers, how many animals that were adopted, how many kids you're feeding at the Boys and Girls Club, alternative dispute, how many families are you reaching, as well as their latest audit, their past history of their expenditures, as well as their proposed budget. This year we asked for additional information. We wanted line items instead of just like an amount to really dig into, see where the funding is going. After we vet everything through and we have received everything, we go ahead and look at what has increased and we bring it to the court. There are certain items that we do not bring to the court because it's already mandatory for us to increase 911. And because they have a board, and we also have a commissioner that sits on the board, I believe, as well as Easterwood. Easterwood has a contract between the cities and A&M. Who else is in there? Appraisal district. We have to fund them, and they increase. I also want to get back to the historical commission. The reason why they didn't come in, Texas Historical Commission recommended them to research cemeteries in this county, and that's where that cost is going to. So it's not their request, it's pretty much the Texas Historical Commission that pushed that down to them. And so that small increase is because there are additional funding to go outside and research cemeteries. Let's see, 911, who else? The 10th Court Appeals, it's not up to us. Their fees have increased. EMS for City of Bryan College Station, we're still working out that contract, and so we went ahead and had to put something in. As well as the regional radio system, as our, go ahead.
Before we leave that one, that's more than half of the total amount.
Because we
And
have
that's,
new.
and that's also
We have no clue of what it's going to
that's
be.
a 60, those are what, 60-something% increases?
Yes, sir.
Not requested.
Oh.
Not requested by them. We just wanted to make sure we had enough in the budget, whatever it ultimately comes down.
And before
so
the funding is sent to them, the court has to approve the contract.
I've had some discussions with city managers, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, and I'd ask y'all to plug enough money. Hopefully it'll be enough. I don't really have any idea. They're going to change the way the county will get charged for each one of those runs, and from what I understand, I think City of Bryan's proposal is to, if they make a run, if they get a dispatch call and they leave the station, it's X. If they turn around, even if they don't show up, and if they make it to a location and do whatever they have to do, but do not transport, it's X plus whatever one. And then if they transport, then it's X plus 2. So, but I don't know what I don't know what X is. I don't know that yet. And College Station, I think, has, they haven't actually made a proposal yet. I think they're still both of them are still working through how they need to be reimbursed for the services they're providing. So the 500 that I think y'all plugged in is just a guesstimate. I don't really know until we get those proposals back.
We can always take it out, and then when we get the proposals, take it out of contingency
And I guess we
during the
can
year.
we'll just have to see where the proposals are, but we hadn't gotten them yet.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Commissioner Aldridge, when he brought that up, what was he, y'all?
He's concerned that the cost that we put in
Cost of
there is
what? too
high.
Ambulance
Ambulance
service.
runs for the county.
And I don't really
Okay.
question that. What I question is that's a 58% increase.
Well, they haven't actually said that this is what the cost is going to be yet. That's
It was a
just a
nice round number,
Yeah.
literally, a nice round number. Would you like 4 instead of 5? I can do that. I'm not trying to be belligerent. I'm just
No, I just was
literally
asking
serious.
why, and I'm glad we had this discussion, because this is about what we need, what we don't know, that we need to cover it as far as that goes.
There is
And we
always.
hope it's covered. We don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we always put a
But
lot
if you don't
in the
budget,
budget that we
but
don't
if you
know.
don't budget for it, and
Yep.
you don't have an emergency, you can't fund it, right?
Right.
Correct.
I got it, okay. Yeah, because of the $626,000, that's more than 50% of the total increase.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
For the regional radio system that we contract with BB Cog, as we add additional positions that require using the radio system, patrol, constables, our volunteer fire departments, we have to share that portion, which increased by $8,000.
Yeah, the nice thing about BV Wax is it's working like it should, because the more people we have on the system, the less it costs per unit as far as that goes. So that's good, and they're continuing to add.
Right, if they add another county, then our cost goes down a little bit.
Per unit on annual. And
Yes, sir.
And we did away with the, every year, they probably put on average about $60,000 or more into
Their capital?
Their capital from their operations as far as that goes.
Yes.
And I don't think that there's an assessment anymore for funding that capital.
There's a portion of that in that $8,000 in their costs, but it's our share for new itemized equipment. If it's not used, I could pull up the outside, the request.
Yeah, no, I just.
But it's broken down two different
Well, no,
capital
that's-
and for operating.
Yep, gotcha. Okay, thanks.
The National Alliance on Mental Health, is that NAMI?
Yes.
Okay.
For Scotty's house, looks like there's an additional $50,000, as Katie discussed last Thursday. There is a fee. Scotty's house? So Scotty's house has received a fee in this past year, there was an additional $83,000.
$80,899. You may remember us talking about the family protection fee that was rescinded
Yes,
in
in
2021, and that's the balance of the funds that we've collected, the fees that we've collected, and we elected this year to just give it all to them because they've provided the services over the years. They documented to us how much they've provided in counseling services.
Mhm. And then the following year, we'll go back down to the,
10,000.
right.
Okay, and this is from, so does that show up in the 626 or not show up in the 626?
It shows up in the 626.
Okay, but we have the funding for that?
Yes.
It's over,
Okay,
remember the
so-
fund balance? It's in there.
Right, so, yeah, we've
It's
got
a wash.
All those accounts we talked about have got all kinds of fund balance stuff. that
Yes,
we
this will
didn't-
get rid of one of the restricted fund balances.
Okay, but, so,
I'm not
Um,
to
sure
look
that
at
it's
it
in there.
net,
'cause
well,
she's-
to look at it net, we would need to take.
I need to take Scotty's house out, but I wanted to show the increase.
Gotcha. I'm good with that, as long as that, okay, so we really should take that 50K out of.
Yes.
Or 40K, I guess, right?
Yes.
Because it's a 50K increase. We should take 40 out of
Yes.
that 626. Thanks.
Hey, that makes ambulance look better. No, worse.
It's all about affordability.
Relative.
And so for, like I stated, some of the organizations or outside agencies, we do fund, and if they increase based on either the board approval, because the commissioner does sit on it, or we just have to regarding our BB Wax, a regional radio, 911, Easterwood, appraisal district. And so even though there's increases, we didn't ask them to come in to justify it because it's an automatic.
Gotcha.
Do you have any questions regarding outside agencies?
Question is, with our fund balance that we have in tobacco settlement, opioid settlement, and pollution settlement, does any of that, are those dedicated restricted funds, or can any of that be used and appropriately applied to any of these categories?
Tobacco settlement was in a separate fund, but as of this year, we absorbed that into the general fund.
Okay,
So it depends on which dollar you want to talk about.
okay,
A dollar is a dollar is a dollar.
yeah, it's a general fund dollar now.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
general fund dollar. We have received As far as I know, $107,000 in opioid settlement funds, which is also in general fund. A dollar is a dollar is a dollar.
Okay.
And what else did you say? Pollution.
Pollution, the VW one.
I
Remember
never
the
received
VW
anything.
one?
I know nothing.
Okay. Was
Somebody polluting us?
They were claiming that they had lower emissions than they were found to have had.
Oh, the
There's a
Volkswagen,
class action lawsuit and the county
the
received some funds.
Volkswagen,
VW.
actually, we haven't received anything
Okay.
regarding revenue funding. Mm-mm.
Bruce, you have any knowledge of that one on?
We know there are funds coming in.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Unless it's received, we don't do budget amendment unless it's received by the auditor's office, and so we will not recognize it.
Checking on it.
I'm just looking for where we got money that we can put into funding this.
All right, I agree.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding outside agencies? Okay. The next up is regarding just,
I would also like to say, point out that I'm very pleased once again to see that the health district is maintaining a level request. And I want to really take this opportunity to compliment Santos Navarrete and for what they've done, because that has, I mean, they have expanded services significantly, but one of the reasons that we asked him to be in that position was it was about expanding health services to Brazos County through grant funding.
he has
And they-
received a
and
lot
they-
of grants.
And they've done a lot, they've done really good, so I wanted to just recognize them for that effort and what they've done.
And what their grants that they have received, it's helping them get their fund balance back to where it was zero several years ago in order
Yes,
for
that
it
was on
to.
a kind of a treacherous glide path here a
That was
couple
scary.
of years ago, but they got it,
Mhm.
they've got it flattened out.
Yep.
Actually, fund balance in the budget that, the proposed budget, we should, actually, we should be able to add a little bit to that.
And they piggyback on what Brazos County does. So if Brazos County does a COLA or a merit or whatever,
Right.
we help them out with it.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions before we move on? I'm going to ask Jennifer and Rihanna from HR to come up to do a presentation regarding a proposal, and it's piggybacking on employee retention. And recruitment.
So we'll give you the presentation. Rihanna's going to start handing out 2 documents, one being a comparison of what other entities are doing. Sorry, there you go. What other entities are doing COLA-wise,
Thanks, Rihanna.
and the second being a longevity presentation.
Okay.
We have it on screen. These are the proposed goals for other entities.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hunt County, 10%.
That may have been 3-4 behind.
Yeah, this doesn't give you any history.
Trend analysis.
It's overrated. Doesn't give you any context.
We can't have that.
That's my high school stomping grounds. Greenville High School.
Exactly. Well, we gave them COLA comparison, proposed COLA comparisons that other entities are doing, so they could review that.
So are you speaking for somebody asking you a question?
Nina was,
Okay.
yeah.
I whispered one.
That's what I thought.
Well, hello again. I know y'all saw us this morning. We're back here this afternoon again, but to discuss longevity.
As y'all know, HR has been focusing on recruitment and retention, particularly over the last year-ish or so. As part of those initiatives, we are proposing an expansion of our longevity plan for our employees. When we're taking a look at our benefits that we offer, our benefit offerings, we noticed that there were really two that stood out above and beyond what other entities offer, one of which being our TCDRS 2.25 to 1 match, and the second being longevity. We met with the UTA representative. He's the recruitment and retention representative from University of Texas at Arlington. He's the one who presented at the VG Young Institute. We've met with him a few times, and we actually have him coming on for an on-site visit next month. So we're excited to kind of keep going. But one of the things we really focused on was longevity. And of course, his recommendation was, you know, whatever you can do to benefit the employees, do it sooner rather than later, because it's all going to be a positive difference. So with that said, we will get into longevity. Our current longevity plan is open to all full-time employees, including elected officials. It's based on your years of service as of September 30th of every year, and it begins at 5 years of employment. So you actually have to have 5 years of employment as of September 30th in order to get that payout the first pay of November. Okay? Our current longevity tiers, as you can see here, range every 5 years. There's a bump in the payout. Okay? Our proposal is to, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. So what is that bump, the longevity amount, and when is that given, or how is that awarded?
Go back one, Nina.
It's based on years of service. So once you hit 5 years, you get the $300 amount. Once you hit 10 years,
What does that mean? $300 amount a
Cash.
year?
$300 one-time payout
That
in
shows it-
November.
Yeah, for the folks at home, I want to
Correct.
make sure of it.
Yeah.
So the first paycheck in November, once you've been here 5 years, you get the $300 bump in that first
Each
paycheck
year,
in November.
And then you,
Each, right now, it's every 5 years.
Right.
That dollar amount increases, but you get the 300 for your 5, your 6, your 7, your 8, or
Right.
9, and then once you hit 10, it bumps to 600.
And it depends on your years of service at September
30th.
30th.
Okay, all right. So our proposal is to expand the tiers to begin after 1 year of service. This will assist us in the recruitment of staff and helping to demonstrate, you know, the county's commitment to our employees, to making sure that we're rewarding that dedication early on in their careers. On the other side of things, the proposal is to double the longevity amounts received by employees starting at 5 years and more. That is the retention piece of this proposal. This recognizes the value of experience and dedication and encourages long-term commitment to the county. With these proposals, the tiers will change to look like this. Thank you, Nina. So year 1 of service, it's approximately about $10 a month for a total of $120, one-time payout, again, first check in November. And that continues year 2, year 3, year 4, and then we'll level out year 5. And then the regular tiers kind of take over with 5-year increments thereafter.
Nina?
I know. If this proposal is approved, HR has a policy ready to go for court approval. We would put it through for court approval in September with the new budget. It would be effective for fiscal year 2025. We want to be very clear with this. This proposal does not affect this year's longevity. This is for next fiscal year. So it'll be your years of service as of September 30th, 2024, with payout the first check of November 2024. Okay.
Legally, we can't change your compensation during the middle of your service. So to avoid retroactive pay, it has to be voted in or before October 1st.
Okay. We did run a budget estimate based on our actual employee numbers and which tier they fell into as of August this month. Okay.
It's quite a substantial investment.
It is.
That's 425,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Where does 425,000 equate to 1% COLA? 1% COLA is how much? I remember you gave me some sheets that I don't
Commissioner,
recall.
where are
off
you
the top.
seeing the 425?
The
I'm
difference
subtracting
between
the,
between the 375 and the 800.
375
Oh,
from
thank
the
you.
880, 800,
Thank you.
880,
Thank you.
and I truncated the 880.
Is it a million for?
It's actually 425, 280.
Yep.
It's 3 for 4.5.
I'll have to exit out of
You
here.
can. The next slide just says thank you, so it's okay.
So now go to the COLA.
Yeah, because if I'm, okay, so 4.5 was about, 4.5 with benefits, and this would also, do you have the benefit amount on top of this, or is this,
That's just.
okay, so we'd add another 27%?
Somewhere around there.
In 2025.
Yes.
Okay,
In 2025, but we have to remember that, you know, we're wanting to keep the people here between 1 and 4. It's just like buying a house. and
yeah,
wanting to invest them.
the onboarding process, the stuff that TXLTAP put out and all that type of stuff, the onboarding is, I think,
Everything, yes.
critical to retention, so.
Yep.
1%.
I get that. Okay.
1% COLA with benefits is approximately $740,000.
Okay, and that's 1% with benefits.
With benefits.
The computer will not
Four,
let me pull it
okay.
up. That's not good.
Hit me with that number again, how much was that, 700?
740,000.
740K. Okay, so this is 425 and benefits, so what's our number to add onto that 425?
About 25% is usually what I
Okay.
use.
So, using a Rustum, 425.
So 531,000.
1.25. 531,000, right?
Yes, that's what I came up with.
So that would be, because it would impact everybody that had been here for longer than a year.
Yes.
We'd actually pick up people in the first 4 years of service that were
Correct.
not here.
Correct.
I think that's a
Vesting
great, I
at
think
8.
that's a great idea for onboarding and retention early, and then to keep turnover down, because turnover costs us
Oh, very much so.
in a lot of ways. And then, so 531 of 740.
Seventy-one percent.
71%, to round it up.
Working on my mind reading over here.
72%. I'll round it up from the 71.79. Yeah. Okay. So that would, if we instituted this, that would be equivalent to a 72% of a 1% additional COLA
Yes.
going forward.
Yeah. They're
Which
HR
would be,
Numbers are-
which would get us from 4.5 that the budget's built on to 5.25?
Not for 24.
5.2.
Remember,
For
not for
25,
24.
yeah.
This is not for 24. This is not budgeted until 2025.
Next year.
Correct.
But we're needing to present it because we want it effective October 1.
So it has to be in
Okay.
place by
Which is
September 30th
Kind
of
of like the earning
2023.
period, the service time period, October 1 through September 30th.
Okay, so I guess if retention is the issue, why wait?
Recruitment and retention.
Right.
Because
Katie.
if we
I
tried
think
to
it's
do
gonna
it
be more, I think the
this-
longevity is gonna be much more oriented towards retention than recruitment.
It would be
Yeah.
retroactive pay, because if you tried to implement it now, it's based on their service as of September 30th, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the time has already happened. You cannot go back and change their salaries.
Okay, so,
So it'd be moving forward as next available.
okay,
Yes.
let me make sure I understand this. So people would start to accrue this benefit
October 1st
beginning
of
October
2023.
1st of 2023.
Yes.
Got it,
But
that's
they
what I
wouldn't be
needed to know.
paid to the
Yes.
following
But it
budget
wouldn't be
year.
paid until,
November 24.
25.
That's
25
calculated
budget
on
year.
September 30th, 24.
okay, when you say 25 budget, you're talking about 24, 25 budget.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, super.
In case this doesn't get, not
All right.
November of 2024. Please do not tell your employees that.
Yeah, well, if we decide to do this, we're building in what is the equivalent of a,
Three-fourths of a percent.
75% of 1%.
.72 COLA.
Technically, yes, you are making a decision. You could still not fund it next
Right.
year.
I mean, I'd sure hate to tell people that they're accruing this benefit and then not pay them.
Agreed.
The opposite of retention.
Yeah, do you think?
Exactly.
Here's-
It's been about 6
Here's my
years
walking
since we
papers.
changed.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 years since we changed longevity. It used to be a lot less. I think the first year was it was 250. It was 250, and so we increased it, Commissioner
Three.
Spray increased it 6-7 years ago, so it's been that long since we really looked at longevity. And with our new way of budgeting, we're looking at different ways to accommodate, of course, retention and helping people stay with the county.
Yeah, like I said before, you know, 416 employees, 0 to 4 years.
And the newer generations
And
leave
of our
quickly.
970, roughly,
About.
you know, that's,
Usually if you can get them to 4 years,
yeah.
You're pretty
you're
good.
halfway vested.
Yep.
And it's harder to leave after 4 years because you're halfway
Yeah,
vested.
yeah. Well, I mean, we peak in the 5 to 9 category.
Mhm.
Go back one. Screen.
Go to the budget one. At the end. Keep going. It's the budget estimate. There you go.
Any additional questions regarding
No.
the proposed longevity? Got it.
We would still have to
Forward.
The state requires law enforcement longevity, so we would still have to do that evaluation, determine which one's more, and that's the one they would get.
Correct, correct. And we did configure it in test in Oracle. We can make it work, which we wanted to make sure we could make it work before we proposed it.
Yeah, let's make sure that we don't get tripped on any wires there relative to defunding law enforcement legislation. Okay, I know we could make an honest mistake there,
But
but the penalties for that are pretty significant.
no, there's been no intention, and I
Gotcha.
don't think we've done it accidentally either.
Yeah.
Since COVID, I can't imagine how much more complicated your job has been in your department. I want to thank y'all for your commitment to
Thank you.
Brazos County and to the team of Brazos County. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, I think this is a great step in the right direction.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. What's next?
That's it.
That's it
That's it
For today.
for today.
for today?
Tomorrow, we will have the cumulatives.
Tomorrow you will have what?
Cumulatives?
Okay.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. It's 3:20.
Thank you all.
And we're adjourned. Thank you.